If you missed the other two videos, basically I bought an old Ford with a seized engine. It was a Ford 87. I took it into the workshop. I was going to see if we could fix it up, but turns out the engine is too far gone for us to spend any money on. So I thought, do you know what, I'll have a look around and try to get a new engine. Basically, the bores were seized with water, so we started taking it apart. So that was in all the other videos. The engine is out now, and we went to buy a new engine. Just picked up the new engine. Was sight unseen, but I was a bit dubious about it not turning, but it does. I can't do it with one hand, but it does turn, I promise. Yeah, so we're gonna get it strapped up and take it home. Look what I just got. A McFlurry! Oh, dead good. No, I'm talking about this really. Got some figuring out to do because as I climb around on the other side, there's a lot of water pipes. This is like a blank oil filter housing. The two pipes send it off over on that side there. So some thinking to do here. The chassis rails on the Ford kind of cut right through the middle of there, so I've got some thinking to do here. This front might be kind of salvageable as what it is. Keep it as it is without having to swap over to the V-belt, because that's a flat belt type. I don't know. I'll have to get next to the other engine, start doing some measuring up and see. Those bolts in there, they aren't the same bolt pattern. They are here, but I think there's bolts into my casting are like about 30 mil further down, which I think provisions will be there for, because these little notches are blanked off. You can't see, but those little notches like there are on my old engine. They're just blanked off, so I imagine the space for it is there. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. I think turbos are the thing. I think I'm gonna have to turn that somehow, because if I want to keep the top diesel tank, I think the top diesel tank comes to about here, so that's gonna have to be turned one way or another, and in doing so, that can just be turned to whatever angle I want. Exhaust is gonna be a funky one for me, because I kind of want to keep the original. You'll see this in a future video, but I kind of want to keep the original exhaust position, which is roughly above where that fan pulley is. So I don't know how I'm best doing that. I don't really want to come outside of the bonnet. I'm going to have to just kind of, I don't know, do some thinking on that. All else fails, it has a new exhaust position, but yeah, it's not really what I want. I like the look of the old TW look with the big chunky exhaust up the front. Yeah, that's it. These engines are a big old awkward lump to lift, aren't they? We'll plonk this down in the shed. We'll start stripping bits off, swapping bits over, and see how it'll fit. I'm going to try and get it in the shed facing the best way as possible. We have to do less flirting about once we're in there, but I've already set up the smoker there, so we're going to have to move that out of the way. It looks a fair long mix of the old thing anyway. Although that is on a stand, so I think a bit of a difference, but trying to get it in as square as possible. So yeah, the engine that it is a New Holland 675 TAVL. Oh, that might give you a better indication. It's come out of a New Holland combine in 1997, or judging by theirs, let's say 98. But it's a 97 model engine. I think them combines, I think they're about 250 horsepower. They were, I believe, intercooled, which is why that's not connected there. So this wouldn't be that much if we're losing the intercoolingness of it. But it's more than I need. This, I think, is supposed to be 120 something, 125, 7, something like that. In which, yeah, this one should be plenty, even without the turbo, to be honest. But we've got turbo, we've got bigger injector pump, moderner setup. Everything about it is beautifully in line with the old one. So the bolt pattern's exactly the same. I'm even going to have the old sump off, because that old cast sump there is it'll take some of the stress of the engine through, whereas this tin one won't. But as you can see, exactly the same. The front, this has got to come off, but that front bolt pattern is that front bolt pattern there. I mean, there's over 20 years between these two engines, but they seem to have kept everything the same, which I do like about this. I also think I'm going to whip off all of this stuff. That's a big water gallery there, the water pump, that pulley there. And I think all of this stuff, again, bolt patterns matching, will fit on. So we'll have the original fan, the original water pump, original pulley. The only thing I've got to manufacture really is that this somewhere for this idler to go, which it might fix on there somehow. So yeah, I think half of them bits and contranclements will fit on the front of there. I actually don't think I've got the room in the tombstone for this big pulley anyway, so even if I kept this pulley, I'd have to get the cut it off somehow, cut it maybe here, or cut into the tombstone, but I don't want to be doing that. So if I can fit as much as the original on as possible, the good thing about fitting the original is it'll put the water pipes back where it needs to be for the original radiator, whereas this is a bit funky with having your outlet there and your inlet there. It just seems a bit like I've got some meshing up to do. And what that'll do is it'll get rid of all of this pipe here, this what I think is an oil cooler. Don't need that on the tractor really. This is a blanked off oil filter housing which sends it off to a side filter there, which should be easy access for the combine, but not needed on this tractor. So all that's got to come off. These pipes, not needed. Put it back to kind of like a tractor spec, which I don't think could be that big a deal. As far as I can tell, the only thing I've got to source is filter housing. Worst case scenario, I can make something up out of the old one and mount the filter elsewhere. But I don't think that's going to be needed. Those parts are probably readily available. This unit's got to come off the back. What is for the combine, the flywheel casing stuff. I'll have to get inside, see what the flywheel's like. If not, I've got one here which I'll likely just put that flywheel straight onto there. Methinks, I don't know, fingers crossed. I've got this open. Lord Muck, you might have seen him on YouTube, he's a very popular bloke. He pointed out that this dual power valve down the side should actuate, in which it doesn't. It's a bit seized, and I think that's probably because there's been a bit of moisture. As you can see, there was a leaf in here. There's been a bit of moisture in here, and I think that's due to the fact that whoever was the previous owner, the starter motor was cracked off and open like that, so it's left a bit of a gap. Moisture's got in, as you can see, and I just think it seems to have got a bit of rust bite on that valve, so I need to free that up. New thrust bearing while I'm in here, that's kind of not smooth. Let's add it. They say to check the PTO input shaft for wear. There's a tiny bit, but this isn't really going back to any kind of serious work now, so I'm not too fussed about that. You can see a bit of wear on there. I'm about done for tonight, but I'll just explain where I'm up to. Starting to take some of the extra pipe work off. Like this water pipe here, that's going to be blanked off that side. And that's the whole water pump, and this is like a water gallery thing for the oil cooler, which goes down the side. That's come off. Fortunately, as you can see, the old pattern for the water and the new pattern for the water are, clean the lens, are the same. So these bolt holes are in the head. They weren't even used. They used new bolt pattern for the new stuff, but these old ones were still in there and still threaded, but they're just full of junk, so clean them out. That's gone on. Water pump fits on where it should. Put that on there. That's all correct. It just needs the bolt holes. Just needs the bolt holes drilling out to fit the new bolts, which are bigger. Doesn't need much out. Yeah, because the holes are bigger for these newer bolts. But yeah, it's just starting to swap over. I didn't get it started only because I couldn't get a pipe that fitted on the input tight enough. I haven't got a proper fitting and just didn't have time to get one sorted, so it will fire. I'm confident it'll go. It had a sniff of easy start and it lumped up on that, but yeah, I couldn't get that right with air filling with air in the line, so it will fire. Just trying to get this front pulley off, which is hella tight. The back is now off with the flywheel. As you can see, there's more bits over there that have come off. So this is the combine pulley that was bolted to the flywheel. Flywheel's round the back. I've just kept it just in case. And that's off. That means this casing's pretty much good to come off now. But still in need of sorting this oil filter housing, which on the combine's been relocated. Here on the tractor, you'd have your filter on there. So I've got to go and source someone who's breaking, whether it's a Power Star or a Genesis. I think some of the smaller TXs maybe also had the oil filter on this side like normal, so I could do with, if anyone out there knows anyone who's breaking anything like that, any Fords from like 7840, 8340 onwards, I think they go on here. I'd appreciate that. Anything up to like the Genesis tractors or anything that had this engine and the filter on there, really. And the alternative is, if I can't find one of them, then I guess I'll just get some flexi hoses on where these are and just mount that somewhere out the way. I guess I could mount it, because this oil cooler's coming off, I guess I could mount it here somewhere and just use that one. I know that works then, but not a massive job really. That's just more of a refit of what would be original parts, but worst case scenario, like I say, I can use that. There's not going to be much left on the old engine in terms of, you know, all this stuff, but there's been some interest already in people who want this, but I am keeping hold of it until this job's done, because there might be bits that I may need. Look at that guy. He's super low. We don't normally get them that low here. Yeah, so that's where I'm up to. Nothing really exciting in this video, I'm afraid. Stay tuned for the next one, which I don't know how far we'll get up to. Maybe the front's all set up properly. This is changed, that casing's off, and then at that point it's a matter of mounting it. I'm going to change the sump over because that's the tin sump, whereas that's the cast sump. The cast sump is a lot stronger and bolts up to there, so I'm going to have that off of that engine. But I'm going to do that once it's mounted on the tractor, because then it's up in the air and it's out of the way and it's swinging then. But one other thing I was going to say, oh yeah, I've still got to sort this dual power lever valve that's in there. I haven't really looked at that yet. I'm only working on this in the evenings after work, so, and it's the odd evening as well, so I'm doing what I can when I can. I think I'm getting through it, but I don't know, hopefully it isn't all that long before I'm starting to have a bit of a tractor shaped lump in this in the building. Anyway, yeah, see you in the next one.